Hey guys, Monkey Man here, and the Steam version of the Mobius Final Fantasy game has finally hit the Steam store. There's been a lot of mixed reviews on the game so far. I personally want to give my own review that is unbiased and doesn't take a lot of the things into account that people who've been playing this game for a long time think of. Especially when it comes down to the marketing and the price points for pay-to-win features of the game. I'm not going to really consider those. I'm going to look at the game at its core and talk about, in an unbiased manner, what is good and what is bad about the game. Straight up, first off, that if you've played this game on your mobile and want to actually see the fruits of your labor in sweet 4K definition, then I definitely recommend you getting this game, because this game literally is the epitome of all the work you've been doing, all the grinding you've been doing. You can see that in detail in the way it's probably meant to be played. I can't really go back to the mobile after playing this. As you can see, I'm playing the Japanese version right now because the global version hasn't hit the store properly yet. There's a few errors regarding the Korean version being the only version available to all players. That's fine. It won't be long before they fix it up, because they've already had a relationship with the Steam. As you can see, the Japanese version works perfectly fine. You can see the quality that you're going to get out of the game. It looks amazing from the get-go. You can see it. It's just, oh man, I could not really fathom doing that cutscene on the mobile. That is so much better to me, in my opinion. It's great. So if you already own the game on mobile, definitely the next priority is probably trying to play the game on a PC and seeing the fruits of your labor in the sweet HD goodness. That aside, let's talk about the game for new people. The game itself, at its core, is a Final Fantasy game. The protagonist is very Final Fantasy-esque, kind of resembles a cross between, I guess, Squall from Final Fantasy 8 and Cloud from Final Fantasy 7. The actual main character feels like that, personality-wise, and he looks like a blank wall from Final Fantasy 1. It's a nice mix of all the Final Fantasy aspects in a hero, and the sidekicks also very, for instance, Echo, as you can see on screen right now, they all bring their own comedic factor, and I like it. It's a pretty good Final Fantasy story. So the story itself does not require you to pay to win, to basically progress through it. It is actually a game that you can purely play free to play and not even worry about ever getting stuck too hard. Like, there is parts where it gets harder, but with a little bit of grinding you'll be able to surpass it on any class that's available to you. Now, this is a mobile game, so it's not really free to play. It's more like pay to win in some factors. If you want to get everything and have all the cards and all the abilities and jobs available to you, it's going to cost money. That's normal with every mobile game. So this is not like a new game. It's a mobile game that's been ported to PC. So no one should really feel surprised at that. So if you're going to go into this game wanting to have everything and own everything and you're a completionist, be ready to spend some money. And trust me, the global version is a lot less forgiving than the Japanese version when it comes to that. So be prepared to spend a lot of money. But that's not a bad thing, because it's how mobile games work, and that's how you feed the company the money it needs to keep creating content. And so I'm happy to say that as a game, it won't matter whether you're free to play or not. Let's talk about the actual game factors. So you get these cards, which are job cards. They have deck abilities. So as you can see, the job card is here. It's this job card, for instance, is Azo Witch. She's pretty much the most broken, I think, mage class at the moment in the Japanese version. And for this, you get these cards that you can equip to her, and the cards as well go under a separate summon in the global version, whereas in the Japanese version they all come under one greater summon, usually. But that's still not a big deal. All we have to know is that there's cards that give you abilities, and these abilities can be used by accessing them through orbs. So when you get into a battle, you can see for yourself that there are some awesome ways to strategize, I guess, in a battle. It's really just comes down to orb management, how quickly you can break an enemy, whether your class is survivable or not. Some classes have different features that make them better than others, in terms of like the Dragoon being able to heal itself with every time it defends itself from a drive, which is this is a form of driving, so you can take less damage from a certain element. But at the same time, with some classes it will actually heal you or do something bonus. So there's different benefits to different classes. It's all pretty interesting. Ultimately, you tack to get orbs. So just then I grabbed 2 of those dark orbs. The orbs are what you need to cast your special carded abilities. These carded abilities can be ranging from 1 color orb to cost to like 8, 9 even sometimes, depending how powerful the attack is. It's always going to be better to have high powered attacks that cost less orbs. That being said, this is pretty broken at 5-star because it does a huge amount of damage over an AoE field. Some cards are going to cost more orbs but be like just as good in the return. So even if you used a cheaper card, you'd probably get the same amount of damage or just a little bit less. It's all down to what cards you get and how you play them. You won't need specific cards to win. There's like a bunch of cards available in the Global Edition, which you can just buy straight up from the ability shop, and you get a lot of those ability tickets. They're the freemium currency, whereas the premium currency is a thing called summoning tickets. So premium currency just comes from everywhere. Like it just gets fed to you. As the game develops as well, as I've found from the Japanese version, they start feeding you lots and lots of ability ticks. And with the ability shop giving you access to so many good abilities to start off with, it's going to be amazing. So the game itself, at its core, is basically a summon cards and play the cards basically using mana, and it's all animated. So it's like a card game that's animated, and it's pretty interesting. I love the way the mechanics work. Like if you play it right, if you build your cards right, sometimes you won't even have to play it manually. There's this feature called Auto, which actually just attacks for you based on whatever cards you have, and if you build your deck the right way and level up your cards enough, then you can actually just auto through the grindy parts, and that can be very good when you're coming to the point where you just want to keep getting that premium stuff, the skill seeds, the things you need to level up. You don't want to be just constantly watching the game, so that auto feature is great. There's other games that have auto features that are very mediocre. This is an auto system that has an AI that's pretty smart. It calculates some great decisions. They kind of hit and miss every now and then, but for a grindy game, this has been the best automatic system I've seen. So in terms of the grind, you're not going to feel it as much as you want. So you're not going to feel it as much as you think. So the grindy part isn't as grindy thanks to that automatic feature. So it's pretty interesting for a freemium game to do that. Let's talk about the cons of the game. The game is basically 4K textured PS2 quality graphics. They're not like next level graphics, but they're not too bad either. Like for a mobile game, it's pretty insane what they could do for the Steam version. Like it's pretty insane indeed to see this in 4K. It actually makes me think that the game was meant to look much more amazing before it was limited to the mobile platform. So this is beautiful to watch. You can see the techniques actually have some crazy particle effects. Things look pretty awesome in 4K definition, so that's pretty cool. But the graphics are never just basically HD PS2 quality. So if PS2 could render in 4K, this is what you would see. It's not the best graphics, but it's a mobile game. So the best thing is that when you want to leave this at home, but you've got to go somewhere, but you still want to play it, you just turn on your phone. They share the same account, so you can just mix back and forth. I guess that's where the benefit comes from mobile games. They can be played anywhere, and that's the best part. So the graphics may be mediocre, but they are like a portable system, like a portable platform. You'll be in and out of it on the go or at home, so just swapping between the two devices. Other than that, all I can really say is the audio is superb. The voice acting isn't horrible. It's very at times it's really good, and there's some comedic factor in some of these special events that happen with certain characters from previous Final Fantasy series that just make or break. First of all, nostalgia is heavy in this game. You'll feel the nostalgia from all the Final Fantasy games across the series. If you're a big Final Fantasy fan, you're going to feel that nostalgia from the get-go, and you're not going to hate it, you're going to love it. But the nostalgia also kind of entices you to want to have a lot of the nostalgic premium items. So that's where I'm going to get to now. Premium items in the global version, don't even think about whether you want them or not. It's all going to be based down to RNG. There was this thing happening where you could pay for it through a paywall, but they got rid of the paywall on the release for Steam, which is beautiful because I don't think anyone here on Steam would want to pay money for each time a skin comes out. It's like $80, $80 American, US per skin. And I know that all of us here in Steam are used to buying skins for certain games like World of Warcraft, but we aren't used to paying $80 for skin, like, that's pretty mediocre. Like, I don't know. I guess they could have kept the paywall up, but I like the fact they got rid of the paywall and have now made it based on luck to get some of these premium job classes, like this cloud event coming up has with it the release of the cloud job, which is basically a really rare summon when you summon other cards. So it's going to be interesting to see that taking place. So that's a different aspect from what the game has been like for the last 6 months. They've been very greedy for the last 6 months, but now that it's on the Steam version, things are looking to shift. I think they want to get more people back into the game. They're done being greedy. They just want people to have fun. So as they start seeing more people drop off, they're going to have to counteract that with more and more, friendliness to get more people on board. That's kind of like what happened with Japan. Like, Japan got more and more generous as Global came out, and then Global just kept drifting worse and worse as Japanese got more generous and more generous. I'm pretty sure a lot of Global players just found ways to get into the Japanese version of the game, no matter how they could, just because of how generous the Japanese version was being versus how scummy the Global version has been for the last 6 months. So hopefully they with the release of the Steam version and the possibility to attract more people back into the game again, and not mediocrely like they did at Christmas. They tried to do this really half-assed Christmas campaign to bring players back, and it was a joke. I thought it was basically they spat in people's faces, trying to entice people to come back. They were not convinced. They stayed away. But yeah, this is not the fault of the company Square Enix itself or the devs. The game itself, as I said, is beautiful and great to play, and it doesn't need any of these extra premium items to enjoy. But in terms of the marketing team, that's now based, I think, Taiwan and Korea. It's one or the other or both that are running the marketing right now for this game in Global. God damn, they need to be fired. I've been saying it for months. They need to be fired. If you're hearing me, Square Enix, just go to the headquarters for Mobius, tell them to change marketing teams to someone that speaks English and knows the value. That being said, if they're making profits, then fucking leave it, who cares? But you know what, the way I see it is, if a game does well, it probably will make more profits in the future, and the game losing its player base, halving every 3 months, it's been halving from like 500,000 to now like 100,000. I think, in terms of win or lose, I feel like you've made a loss, because you've lost player base, and the more people start seeing that, the more even the paying people will just probably drop off and see the game as irrelevant. So hopefully Square Enix sees my video and does something about it. But if not, then it's okay. It's still a game that you can play for free, and I recommend not paying for any of the premium items as it stands if you're new to the game. If you're really invested in the game and you love the game, you've been playing for ages, then by all means play as much as you can. Support the company that helps you have something to waste your time and spend your time doing. So definitely pay for the stuff if you're that kind of person. But in my opinion, just stay away from the big cost money and just have fun with the game as it is. And like as a whole, the game is enjoyable. It's 100% enjoyable, and you guys will see as well when you start playing how great this game can be in 4K definition. So that's it from me. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Monkey Man. If you like my video, please thumbs it up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video.